I was like, where's my peeps? I like to be able to see you guys and see your facial expressions, or if you have a question. So raise your hand during this hour if you want to find out how to find or create at least $10,000 for your business. Who's in? Who's in? Who's with me? Let's go. Okay. How to find at least $10,000 in less than an hour without winning the lottery. And this is based on my book called Peak Profits. I'm going to just dive right in. Most of you know about me, and I won't talk a lot about me, but these are examples of things I love to do. So what we're up to is building profitability, but also building our quality of life, our free time to do what we love. So here's me up in Tahoe with my ski patroller buddies. We play music a lot. We played in public with a band. I like telemark skiing. It's my buddy Bo, who's one of the best skiers I've ever known. And my main passion is running. It's a gift that God gave me, and I've definitely maximized it. And then the other thing about me is I don't do things lightly. Like marketing, I've been studying for 15 years, and I want to be the best marketer. I want to be the best coach that I can possibly be. And I had a girlfriend years ago who got me as a birthday gift diving certification course. So I got my PADI open diver course, and then I got advanced course, and then the rescue course, and then finally became a dive master. And I didn't really want to be a dive master, but I just wanted to be safe and know the most I could about it. So that's what you get when you hang out with me. We're gonna set high standards and go for the moon. Now this is a visual representation of all the different areas where we can improve our business. And just like work-life balance or setting goals, it's good to just focus on one, maybe two areas at a time. But I want to give you a visual representation of everything that we can possibly talk about and every way that I can help you with your business. We'll start with the foundation. So a business plan is key. A comprehensive marketing plan is key, and we're going to go into that today. But also, what's the best entity structure? What insurance do you need? How do you fund your business? Do you have a business bank account? What do you use for bookkeeping, accounting? Do you need an office? What equipment do you need? Do you need a mentor or mentors or mastermind group? So that's the foundation we build upon. And then I have this 5-pointed gold star model. I call it the superstar business model. And there's finance, which is bookkeeping, accounting, tax strategy, cash flow management, seasonal fluctuations. I used to live in Lake Tahoe, and that was a huge deal for businesses up there. And, various businesses have different things. So, but profits, pricing, we're going to talk about those today, and custom reports. You guys have heard me say you want to keep your books up to date every month and look at the reports and analyze it. What doesn't get measured isn't super easy to fix. What does get measured really can be improved drastically. And then marketing, I like to call that a huge ball of worms. It can be quite complex, but I try to break it down into simple success principles. So the marketing plan, budget, return on investment, strategies, tactics, tracking, target market, messaging, copy, quality of leads. We went through a lot of that in 2020 for those of you who were with us, and we're going to go back into it again. What I'm finding is all of us need a lot of repetition to really not just understand it, but do it and get it done and embody it. So if some of it sounds like, oh, we already did that, you'll get some new nuggets next time we go through it. And leadership, hiring, interviewing, due diligence, training, motivation, goals, job descriptions, HR law, I'm trying to get an HR person into our group, or at least be a guest speaker, because that's not my expertise. So that'll be coming this year as well. Operations, that's all about systems, streamlining, training materials, documents, to really run your business like a business. Customer service is a big one there. And then sales. I think the biggest thing that gets in our way with sales is fear. And we've talked about that, and we'll continue to talk about that. How to go from your head to your heart, how to follow up with people, how to overcome objections, and really, get to help the people that we're on the planet. We're on the planet to help. Any questions on this visualization? Can all of you like pick one area and say, oh yeah, I'm going to start with this one? Just nod your head, smile. Okay, good.
Jim, I might add something to this too, is that, yes, you did go over this before, but in my accounting world and accounting life and the clients that I have, I mean, every one of my clients could look at this again and go, oh, this isn't at all what I was looking at a year ago, or what, because of this, of all the transition that's happened. And so it's kind of like your level 1, level 2, level 3 kind of a situation, is that whatever they were looking at before, or whatever we were looking at in our businesses before, it's like we almost have to throw it all out, because we're somewhat starting over as if we're having a new business. At least I find that with a couple of my accounting clients.
Yeah, that's a great point. And, business development, marketing, and sales, if you when you really create a plan using my methodology, you can overbook your business, and then you need more team, and you need to streamline operations. So there's this teeter-totter of leadership and business development, and with streamlining operations and customer service in between. So thank you, Corinne. That was a great point. And the common business challenges, how many people are busy? It's okay to be busy, but not too busy. And then even worse than that is not busy at all. If you're not busy at all, then get busy with marketing. But no, most people wear busyness, not business, busyness, as a badge of honor. How you doing? Oh, I'm busy. Like, that's a good thing. And I'd say it's healthy to have space. It's healthy to live a life with times of peace of mind, to be able to have self-care, self-love, and do fun things. So, we talked a little bit about that. Stress, a little bit of stress can be good. Before the group coaching, I always get nervous, and, maybe it feels stressful, but that's just to get me on my game. But if we're stressful all the time, that's going to affect our physical health and well-being. So reducing stress. And then dartboard marketing. We went over that 2 weeks ago. And I say 90% of people that want help with marketing come to me and they say, hey, can you help me with social media or a Facebook page? Or they jump right to a tactic because they hear other people are doing it. And I tell you, don't follow the masses. Follow the people with fruit on the tree. Follow the people with success. So we're going to talk about how do you go from throwing spaghetti on the wall and seeing what sticks to, having the spaghetti be exactly right and sticking every time. And then cash flow can be a real challenge. Team is a common thing that people come to me with. Oh, I just can't find good people. I can't trust anybody. I don't know how to delegate. I have trouble letting go. I have control issues. And then that can be built as far as leadership and training and setting people up for success, as well as the whole hiring practice. So that could be a whole group coaching session in itself. And then does anybody know what the 30-day challenge is? Corinne?
I got something out of my meeting. The 30-day challenge, if I'm not mistaken, is when your business can run for 30 days without you being present.
You nailed it. So think about it. If you went to some remote island with no internet access, no phone, no computers for vacation, how would your business do? And I think that's a beautiful challenge for all of us to create. Be able to
Can I
get
also
away for a week,
can I
2 weeks.
also interject? Sorry. Can I interject something about this? Your first item on this list, busy.
Sure.
Um, I I have found, or I believe, um, I know a lot of people who, oh, I'm really busy, I'm swamped, I'm this, I'm that. In many ways, I think that's a marketing deterrent. People don't want to call because they think you're too busy or you don't have the time to spend with them. So it projects a negative when we actually are trying to project a positive. So we need to think about that.
Yes, and that's a good thing to be aware subconsciously.
Mhm.
If you think most of the time our marketing methodologies take 2, 3 months to produce results, and they don't produce as many results as we plan on or we're quote afraid of. So I challenge people to create a marketing plan and tactics and action plan to 2x, 3x what they can possibly handle themselves. And what we want to be overwhelmed. We want to set a goal and an action plan that will overwhelm us, because then it creates us and the necessity to build team and build systems. And that's the only way to grow a business. But if you get stuck in that, oh my God, I'm already so busy, I don't want more clients, I don't want more people calling me, then you're going to be stuck with a job with tax benefits for the rest of your life. And I don't mean to sound drastic, but it's true. Just being honest. Now here's where the meat and potatoes is. And of course, you know, the pot of gold in the rainbow is Irish, so meat and potatoes is totally appropriate. So where do profits come from? Where do 80% of our profits come from? One, more leads. Two, higher conversion ratio. Three, more transactions. Four, proper pricing. And five, I know it sounds obvious, profits come from profit, but really analyzing your expenses as well as your income, so that your business can be profitable and doing revenue models and that kind of thing. So how does this pan out mathematically? If we took those 5 areas and we improved just 10%, and that's actually really easy, you could take a business, and this is more like a sole proprietor model. So these are the 5 areas I just mentioned. And we started with $62,500. If we just did a 10% increase, that's really easy to do with what I'm going to talk about today. In each of those 5 areas, that's over $100,000. And you can extrapolate that. And I have a calculator where you can put in 20%, 50%. 50% increase goes up to $250,000 in each of those areas. And that's actually doable. So let's talk about leads. The quality of leads is really what's important. So in your marketing copy, you want to have something indicating who do you help and who it's not for. It's perfectly okay to explain who's your ideal client. And the quality of leads goes into your target market and defining your target market. And for those of you in BNI, we talk about, who's your ideal client, who's your dream client. The marketing plan, I'm going to go into a lot of detail in the next slide, so I won't talk about that. But if any of you watching or here today wants a model for a marketing plan, just go to peakbusinesscoaching.com, go to services, and click on the marketing plan subpage, and the full outline is right there. The one thing in a marketing plan that can make a 5 to 10-fold difference in your marketing is the target market and defining it. And the biggest mistake most people make is not going narrow enough. So the more narrow you can go, the better. And where people get caught up is they think their target market is anyone they can help. And narrowing down your target market doesn't mean that you can't help people outside that target market. So if Jacob says, we're going to do a marketing campaign for kids between the ages of 8 and 12 that have ADHD, that doesn't mean I can't come and take a course and pay. He's going to happily set me up. But what it does is, by narrowing it down that much, as an example, now all of a sudden you can ask the question, who else serves that target market? Who would be a power partner? Where could I get referrals? What do they read? What radio station do they listen to? What websites might they go to where I could place an ad? See how that works? So when we get into the details this year of target market, we're going to talk not only demographics or criteria, like a lot of people say, is it more male and female, and what age range, and what salary range, and where do they live, which is geographics, but also psychographics. What's challenging? What's challenging for them? What's a problem you can help? What's the biggest problem that you can help them solve? Brad, when I think about photography, there could be like emotional pain or loss by not capturing some of those special moments or family, like letting years go by and not having a chronicle of special moments and family. Like that hits the heart. And we want to go into the psychographics of solving problems, relieving people's pain. That's the easiest sell. Enhancing people's lives, making it better, helping them reach their dreams is more like vitamin marketing, where problem solving marketing is like aspirin marketing. If somebody has a migraine headache and you have a pill that you could give them legally, of course, that's going to be an easy sell, right? And then copywriting, I've shared the models before, but a good copywriting model is simply grab their attention. 2, compassionately relate to the problem or challenge that they're facing, the biggest one that they're facing, not every single problem. 3, what's in it for them? What results can you help them get? What benefits would they receive based on those results? And what emotional shifts would they experience? So 3 is what's in it for them. And then 4 is a clear call to action. And then lower on the page, if it's your website or somewhere in the marketing material, you can have social proof like testimonials or success stories. And a guarantee is also extra credit, but I like to break down copywriting into a really simple 4-step model. Another model is grab their attention, A. B, create demand. C, overcome objections. And D, make your offer. So whichever model works for you. And I already mentioned this without knowing it, but magic bullet marketing, that's power partner marketing. It's joint venture marketing, it's referral marketing. So people referring business to you. So the powerful question here is, who else has your target market? But either, and it doesn't matter whether they compete with you or not. Like there may be providers that are super busy. You know, say for a bookkeeper, somebody goes on vacation and they need somebody to take over for a bit, or a chiropractor, or there's those power partners that can refer you business over and over and over again once you build their trust and build their relationship. So I always like to mention that as far as getting more leads. The other things that, so referral marketing, power partners, and some type of reward system, as well as activating old clients. So that's where the email list, making phone calls, making a few phone calls every single day, go through your client files or emails, and who haven't you talked to for a while? And again, this is follow-up. The fortune is in the follow-up. And we'll go into more of that down the road. Any questions here? Welcome, Simone. Glad you can make it. I notice you're near San Francisco Bay. That's awesome. Okay, so here's the marketing plan I was talking about. I don't have time to go into all the details today, but purpose, vision, mission, and values. That's your corporate culture. That's the foundation of your business. If you haven't done these yet, these can actually be done. When I sit down one-on-one with clients, we can usually do this in about an hour, hour and 15 minutes. If you're a large corporation, it can take months. But it is really valuable to do this because it helps you with business decisions. It helps you with ethical choices. It helps you with who you hire, what your offerings are. So I highly recommend building that foundation. And in the Peak Business Coaching YouTube channel, there are videos on each one of these. And on peakbusinesscoaching.com, you can also see examples. So that those are some resources for you. Branding is your business name, your logo, and your slogan. Those should really be well thought out and really leveraged, with the logo, the visual element. With the business name, the biggest mistake people make is using their own name in their business. That's like wasted real estate. Like every name, every word in a business name is prime real estate. So Jim's Auto Repair, I could have said Quality Auto Repair, or I know that's taken, but as an example, an adjective is much more powerful than my name. And then the ideal target market we talked about, defining the primary problem and the big opportunity. And what I'm going to mention here is if you're not clear on that, the biggest opportunity you have is to go out and do market surveys and ask them, related to your business, your offerings, what are some of their headaches? What keeps them up at night? What are some of their challenges? What are some of their fears or negative perceptions? And when you go out and talk to 10, 20, 50, even 100 people over time that are in your target market, you get to know how they think and what's their biggest pain point. A lot of people try to list out 5, 6, 7, 10 different problems, and then they try to be everything to everybody. But people, when people land on your website or look at a postcard you send them in the mail or a flyer, you only have 3 to 7 seconds to grab their attention and get them to read more. If you have, a huge letter with a bunch of information, very few people are going to read it. So it'll be expensive trash, expensive recycling. So I call that market surveys, and it's a good idea to do all the time. It was a really good idea to do that when COVID started. You know, when there's big shifts, whether it's political, economic, health, culture, it's good to get out there and see what are your people, what are they thinking, what's their pain, what are new problems that have cropped up that you can help them with, and then what do they really want, what are their dreams, goals, desires. So those are the two sides of that coin. So when you're following up with people, when you're reactivating old people, a good way to do this is say, hey, do you have 10, 15 minutes for me to ask a few questions? I'm doing market research for my business. I want to make sure we're focusing on the most important things and we're offering, what people want and what they need these days. And be sure to compliment them. And I chose you because I respect such and such about you. Test marketing is a huge opportunity for all of us and something that should be done constantly or regularly at least. The other things, specific measurable goals and revenue model, marketing budget. And then the next one is incredibly important, your USP. Who can share what USP stands for?
Unique selling proposition.
Nailed it, Jacob. I also call it the market dominating position. So what's truly unique, special, different, and better about you and your business? And I will tell you that if you have not identified that or created that, that's a big deal. And I think so. I use IR and EP for this. So each EP is external perception. That's what you put out in your marketing. That's what people think when they see your marketing. IR is your internal reality. And what you want is your internal reality to be truly unique, special, different, and better than your competition. And you want to highlight those things. You don't want to use platitudes, which is what everybody else is using out there. So, 147 years of experience, combined experience, great customer service, blah, blah, blah. Everybody says that. So don't say that. Say, like in my web design business, I make sure that my clients have their own GoDaddy account, that they have admin access to their hosting, and they have the ability to make changes on their own website. And the reason for that is I did a market survey and I found out that webmasters were holding people hostage. They weren't giving access. And I see this all the time. So what are the problems and challenges? Where does your competition fall down? Where can you stand up and really truly be better? So that's that internal reality. And then your external perception, the IR and the EP match, and they're really powerful. I love it. I'm seeing you guys shaking your heads and thinking like this is major life-changing nuggets. What are the major benefits to your customer? We talked about that. What's in it for them? What's your clear call to action? How do they get started with very little risk, very little obligation? You could give a PDF, 7 tips on how to hire a great photographer. Five top reasons or 5 ways that solar can boost your bottom line. So give something away, give value. Oops, sorry. Situation analysis, risk analysis, market research. And then we get into, once you've done all that, then it's really easy to say, okay, I'm going to pick 5 online tactics, 5 offline tactics, and go to town, because you know your messaging, you know where your target market hangs out, what they read, where they go, how you can get the word to them, how they can find you as easily as possible. And then I highly recommend a marketing calendar. Like if you're doing things like blogging or a newspaper ad or things that have to be done on a certain time or on a regular basis, the calendar is really helpful. And putting it on your calendar, if you're the one doing the marketing, or if your team is doing the marketing, have it on their calendar. And then track different marketing tactics. You know, how do you know what to stop, what to do more of, what to split test, what to adjust, and maximize your return on investment? I know that was a lot. I hope that was super helpful. And we're going to go into more detail this year on any of these topics. All right, on to sales. I mentioned before fear versus love. Is anybody hesitant or fearful, whether it's sales, making an offer, or following up? Yeah, I'm seeing nodding heads. I admit it. There was one time where I had a stack of papers of free coaching sessions that I had done, and it was time to follow up. I'd been remiss. And the voice in our head, the gremlin voice, the saboteur voice, is very tricky, and it's very convincing. So even though I coach people on this all the time, I have a great awareness of this. I got halfway through the stack and my brain told me, "Oh, great job, Jim. That was good enough." And I had the time marked off on my calendar. The time wasn't done. And I had to like coach myself to get back on the horn. So, you know, whether it's follow-up, don't listen to the voice that tells you not to take the actions that you know you need to take to get the results that you want. And if anybody is stuck, probably not today, but I'm in a coaching program right now where we're going deep dive into the saboteur and how to reduce the activation of the saboteur or fear brain, or monkey brain, whatever you want to call it, and how to get out of that as fast as possible with certain exercises, mental exercises, and actual physical 10-second exercises, and how to get back to a place of calm and peace and our highest self or God or intuitive sage way of being. It's called positive intelligence. You've heard of IQ, intelligence quotient, and then emotional intelligence has been really powerful, but this is called positive. So you guys can all practice that, but it's particularly helpful with sales and follow-up and putting yourself out there, making offers. A script can be really helpful. And especially if you're really good at sales and then you're handing it off to team, that's where a script can be super helpful. And a script doesn't mean that you read it word for word and with no voice inflections. You make it your own, but it's what do I need to say? What really gets the job done? What are the powerful questions I need to ask? And then have some down sales. You know, Rick, I don't know what you offer in your company, but people might not be ready to do. It's hard to go from zero, not knowing somebody, to a $20,000 or $30,000 solar. So there may be things that you guys can offer to, maybe help with the insulation or energy envelope of the home, or I don't know, some tips for $97 or $47, just to an ebook for $7. And it warms them up. You add value, and somebody can't do your high ticket thing. Information products, ebooks, books, a lower level of service, or, like for example, this group coaching is highly affordable and it's effective. So there's some certain people in business that they're not at a point where they can afford my one-on-one coaching. So this is a good example of that. McDonald's makes a huge amount of profit by training their team to ask you if you want fries with that, or do you want an ice cream sundae? Because the base cost and the base profit is not that high, but when they add on, and that's from the restaurant business, desserts and liquor is where most of the profit comes from. The food maybe pays the bills, but they just break even. So downsells, side sells, upsells. The other thing is having a capture page and building your list. So having an opt-in system, a CRM or client relations management system is really important. And again, the fortune is in the follow-up. The only thing I'm going to say about this is most people think that 3 times following up is like really knocking it out of the park. and I'll admit that too. But conversion ratio in a lot of businesses is only like 7 or 8% after 3 follow-ups. People are busy. When you think you've bugged someone too much, they're just starting to pay attention. Hello, Stacy, welcome.
Sorry.
And but if you look at sales curves and conversion ratio, when you get out to 10 or 12 repetitions and follow up, the conversion ratio goes up to 20-25%. And I think this is a good time to mention the rule of 5. Who remembers the rule of 5? With follow-up or with email autoresponders. The rule of 5 is every time you try to sell something or make an offer, you get -5 points. Every time you add value, every time you make someone's day, you help them, you get 1 point. So see how that kind of follow-up, you can easily get 10 or 12 follow-ups, with an automated system, with just a tracking sheet and making phone calls or texting or emailing. Hey, I thought you'd like this article. You had mentioned that you were struggling with this, or you wanted to learn more about that. Awesome. The next area, I guess we already talked about this, but the number of transactions is a huge area of building your business profitability in sales. So upsells, downsells, cross sells. I already gave this example. So what products or services can you add? Simone is talking about, and probably already well on her way to building a sales training course. Once that's developed, once the platform is set up and the videos are done and the worksheet is done, I don't know how much she's going to sell it for, but a really good sales course could go for $500 US, $1,000, $997, and pay huge dividends for whoever buys it. But once it's developed, that's not going to take her time. And the same thing with our businesses. When we have team or we have products or books or information products, that's how we can leverage. That's how we can meet that 30-day challenge. And at some point, go to Europe for a month and come back and be richer than when we left. Yes.
Because it's really hard for me not to say anything. I'm sitting on my hand. I just want to add a quick tip to the scripts. A really good idea for the script part, and this involves the upsell, downsell, cross sell, is a lot of people will write a script and they'll follow that script so much. I always recommend have scripts, but also have a list of bullet points of what else you offer and some other just bullet points of what you can do for the client and all that. Because sometimes you're talking to a client and you'll get like almost flabbergasted, like, oh my God, where'd that question come from? But just having those bullet points beside you can really take the conversation in a whole closing sale.
Excellent. Thank you so much. That's a really good point. And if you have a script, I mean, don't be afraid of using a script and being awkward at first, but eventually it'll be your own, and all you'll need is the bullet points. So there's a progression. So that's a wonderful tip. Thank you. The next area where you can actually increase your profits by 50% with this one area, and that's proper pricing. So dollar and percent margin. So there's dollar margin, which is you sell it for X, it costs you Y, so your profit is Z. X minus Y equals Z. So that's dollar margin. Percent margin is, let's say you sell it for $100. It costs you $50. So your percent margin would be 50%, just using a simple mathematical. And it's funny how sometimes, I've used this auto repair industry example many times, but I think it's really effective. From a dollar margin perspective, thousands of dollars, an engine or transmission job looks the best, but it can take 3 days of a bay and master technician to do a job like that. So the costs are really high. The opportunity costs are high. And when you look at the percent margin for that kind of job, it's really low. But when you look at a battery or a brake job or radiator fluid change, the percent margin is huge, and you can do it in a shorter period of time. So looking at dollars, percent profit, and time costs is a great way to do your pricing. And this is where I talked about IR versus EP. So we want to price at the top of the range in our particular business. And that's not to rip people off, and it's not to be greedy. It's because we're the best. And that's where the internal reality and the external perception, sharing why we're the best. Why would you want to buy a shirt at Nordstrom when you can buy the shirt for half the price at Walmart? Well, one, because it looks better, it lasts longer, the quality is better, and you feel better. So when people work with you, if you're priced at the high end and you really deliver above and beyond, you under promise, over deliver, and you're real and you come from the heart, there is absolutely no problem with that. And you'll hear me say this over and over again, but competing on price is for the big guns. It's a horrible way for small businesses to operate. It's painful and it's frustrating. So no more bro or sis deals. If somebody wants a deal, I like having no bro deals, because then we don't deliberate. I used to do that. I'm sorry. I price based on the quality of my product and services. I'm priced fairly, and I've really carefully considered this. I know, Mr. or Mrs. Jones, that you value your dollars, and you're also wise in choosing who you want to work with. And when you choose us, you get X, Y, and Z. And that's why your dollars will go further. It may seem like it's cheaper, somebody else, but I would caution you, and make sure, do your due diligence on, this and that and the other thing, because you may not be getting what you think you're getting. So you don't badmouth the competition, and you really respect people for wanting a bargain, but then say, no, I'm sorry. This is a value. This is a deal. And not having no bro deals. If you succumb to a bro deal, family or friend or whatever, then don't give them the bro deal up front. Have them pay full price. And then if they do 5-star reviews and video testimonial, etc., then you can give them a discount. I know I'm sounding bossy, but it's really important. And the attrition myth is, oh my God, if I raise my prices, I'm going to lose all my clients. That never happens. I won't say it never happens. I've never seen it happen. And I've worked with hundreds and hundreds of businesses. So don't worry about that. And the other thing is, when you're priced appropriately, like we're talking about here, you can serve, I don't know, I don't remember the math off the top of my head, but I think you can serve 70% of your clients and make the same profitability. But if you discount 10% and your profit margin is 30%, you have to do 50% more business to make the same profit. That's why it's a horrible way to do it. I actually do remember the numbers. I lied. All right. And then profit, every 6 months, every quarter, it's just good to look at your credit card statement, look at your expenses. Are there things that you can lop off or that you don't need anymore? But really psychologically focus on growth, focus on the proper pricing, making more offers, marketing. And if you really want to accelerate, having an intern or a part-time assistant, even though it seems like that's an additional expense, if you hire somebody to do repetitive work and administrative stuff in your business for 10 hours a week, and you spend 8 of those 10 hours a week doing business development activities, you're going to pay for that person 5-fold at least. It's just like bookkeeping. You know, people think it's an expense and they're saving money by doing it themselves, but they're actually remaining stuck. So those are the 5 areas that massively increase the profitability in your business. And that's the foundation that this year is going to be built on. There's also team, there's leadership, there's streamlining operations, customer service. We'll have a guest speaker for HR. But that's the baseline. That's what we're here for. And I hope you guys are as excited as I am. And I love minions. Any questions? Okay.
Jim, thank you so much for all that. I learned a lot already, and I was just wondering the attrition myth. I tried doing some Googling, but I didn't have any luck. I'm just if you could go over that quickly, just so I can understand it a little bit better.
Absolutely. Thank you for asking, because I may have gone through that too quickly. So the fear, and again, fear is most of the time false evidence appearing real. The fear is that if I raise my prices, I'm going to lose too many clients. And when you raise your prices, but you also raise your internal reality, the value, and the way you do business, and make yourself better than the competition, then you explain to people why you're raising your prices and what's in it for them, and why you're the best choice. The attrition rate, meaning the number of clients you lose, is very low. It's almost super surprising.
Thank you. Yes, that's perfect. Thank you.
Yeah.
Jim, can I?
And let me just add, you need to be somewhere in the range of your industry. But the idea is, how can you be the Nordstroms of your industry? And in a talk I did last year, I used the example of these Birkin purses. Have you heard of those? They're like $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 purses. The people are out there. If we do effective marketing and we do a great job, we come from the heart, we have attention to detail, we are truly the best. We can have highly profitable businesses and sleep well at night and feel good about ourselves. And there's also perceived value. I'll give you one example. I had a photographer client in the Lake Tahoe area, did great pictures, but he thought if he marked his prices down to half of what the competitors at his level of quality were doing, he would sell more paintings. And this is the first coaching session with him. And I said, dude, double your prices. Your quality is good. You're right there with the best. And he did that, and he sold more paintings. So when people saw him at half the price, they had a perceived value that was less, even though the quality was good.
I've got a big thank you for your advice during our intake session. That's exactly what you told me is, stick to your price and don't negotiate too much. And the customer actually signed on with me for that exact reason. Turns out they were negotiating just to see if I'd be able to defend their price points the same way that I would defend mine. And so it turned out to be positive that I resisted, of course, by providing value in other places.
Fantastic, Chris. Good job. And it's so easy to cave. So, you stood your ground. And the other story I'll share is when I first started coaching 16 years ago, I did some family and friends for free, and they didn't take it seriously. They didn't show up, and they didn't do their homework. So they didn't get the results. So people need to invest in themselves, whatever our businesses are, and they're happy. And the people that really try to negotiate and get a bargain, oftentimes they are the most labor intensive. I'll use nice words. Corinne, did you have something you wanted to add?
I was just going to mention an example of that very same thing. I have a client that I work with, and she's actually in the housekeeping business, and went out for a couple of her proposals, and the people were, oh my gosh, your prices are very high, or whatever it was. And she basically said, well, my prices are my prices because I have a business license, I have insurance, did exactly that, and sort of went into what you're getting for that value. And they were like, okay, well, ironically, they said, no, initially I can find somebody else to do this job cheaper, and things happened, and both of those people have come back to her. So
yep, fantastic. Well, we are out of time. If anybody wants to get the book, I highly recommend it. If you get a $20 book and you find $10,000 for your business, that's 50,000% ROI. So that's why I recommend this book. Have a great week, everybody.